Hi Aquafish, so this message is for Aquarius and Pisces of all placements. I personally will watch, my North Node, Midhaven, Venus sign, whatever I'm feeling drawn to. So pretty much everyone is welcome, but if you have dominant Aquarius or Pisces placements, or if you were born on the cusp of sensitivity, which is February 15th through the 21st, this message is for you. As you can see, I've already pulled a few cards here in front of me. I thought that the camera was rolling and it was not. The camera was not recording, so I started your message without you, but I had a pretty powerful message come through, so I wanted to keep these cards and just start here. So we have, for the very first card out, we have the Artist card. We also have Healer is your second card. And then the third card that came out for the Aquarius Pisces Collective is Mirror. So I'm picking up on different crafts and different styles of healing the community, family, friends, and loved ones around you. I'm also picking up on heavy artist vibes. So you could be somebody that is quite literally creating art, whether that's jewelry, paintings, music. You could be somebody that dances. I was picking up on Britney Spears, specifically the song Crazy, and I haven't listened to that song yet, but I have been seeing her on my news feed a lot, and just a lot of nostalgia of how she looked when she was at her prime of her career about 20 years ago, and versus all of the criticism and judgment that she gets cast her way now. Dancing is something that has always been a joy for her, something that has carried her through not only her career but throughout her life. And now she's on social media still just kind of dancing. I would expect, process life the best that she can, and some people will actually criticize and judge her for that. And I'm picking up on, with the dancing vibes specifically, the two-way mirror that is often present in dance studios, where on one side of the mirror you're able to see clearly the performance that's happening in front of you, but all of the dancers are able to see is themselves. And so it's like this reflective tendency in your healing energy where people are not always able to see you, your message, your art clearly for the healing that takes place, but not to diminish your value as a determination of your significance in that interaction is what I'm hearing. Something else that Spirit is really bringing to my attention at this time, I didn't post a video for you guys. I didn't realize it had been so many days, but I didn't post a video because I was feeling really sick. And I was feeling really sick for a couple weeks, and as somebody who suffers from chronic illness, I just automatically assumed that's what it was. But then I realized that I had been using castor oil as it was, viral. I didn't see what people were doing with like putting it in their belly button, but I had put it on a lymph node that I've had for 3 years that I can't get to go away. And I had also put it on my feet because my feet are chronically dry from constantly wearing sandals in California, and so I found that it worked overnight better than anything else, and so I just kept putting it on my feet, trying to like repair my feet, repair the skin on my legs. Because of my treatment for my chronic illness, I'm going through a lot of skin changes, and so basically I found out I was using way too much for somebody that has chronic illness, because it is a detoxing method, and it was basically sending me into a deep herx. And I'm used to herxing about every other day because of my apitherapy treatment, but this was nonstop. It was pretty severe, and I kept trying to push through thinking I was going to bounce back, but I did not. And sometimes I get sick, I go down for days at a time, so I do apologize. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because although I was feeling tremendously sick, because my body was feeling overloaded with toxins, I was healing. I was still in the process of healing. It's just, it has to be done in moderation, because if you overuse it, just like any other medicine out there, there are risks involved with overloading your system with things that it cannot handle. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I feel like as a mirror, you go through life, and some of you don't even recognize you have this spiritual gift yet, because it is a gift, even though sometimes it feels like a curse. You go through life attracting people and situations were divinely guided and placed into your path so that you can both level up and grow together. Because there's never a situation or reflective tendency between two people or a person in their community where the person is not also able to learn some type of lesson and level up from that experience. It's just that one side of the partnership may benefit more than the other, depending on what kind of healing needs to take place. And if you happen to illuminate and reflect something that requires deep healing within somebody, there's a tendency for them to be repulsed, disgusted, and to literally start to feel sick by the presence of the message, and sometimes even you. And something that I've seen so heavily in the collective lately, and I've kind of been touching on this on my other channel, I try to stay away from the heavier topics here, but something I've noticed is there can be negative or dense energy around a person because of the healing that needs to take place, because of the lesson or test, so to speak, that you're up against. And people are repeatedly misinterpreting it as that person themselves is the negative or dense energy. That person themselves is possessed by a demon. That person themselves, rather than acknowledging the entity that is attached to that person, or the karmic cycle that is attached to that person, they're demonizing and villainizing the person that is present to shine light and truth on that situation. Truth is not something that is low vibrational. Truth is not darkness. Truth is not something that is lingering in the void, although some people may cast illusion onto you and try to get you to believe that. Truth is always going to be the light. And truth speakers, although they may be disliked in general, they are light workers in their own right. They are able to heal. There is beauty in their craft, in their unique individuality is something that I'm picking up on. Your card says you disrupt things in order to enable people to see themselves differently and begin to heal, the ultimate mirror. And so there may be a period where they feel sick. There may be a period where they resent you for doing this to them, for putting this pain onto them, although that's not even what you're doing. You're actually there to bring it out, to suck the toxins out of where they've been deeply buried, and that could create a herx, that could create flu-like symptoms, emotionally and psychically speaking. Does that make sense? It's interesting that I said psychically instead of spiritually, but that's what came out. So I want to get some clarifiers here. Can I get a clarifying message for the artist card, please? Clarifying the artist for the Aquafish Collective. Thank you. So the card that came out is the King of Stars. It came out on its side, so you could be going through periods of lack, whether this is related to finances or if it's related to physical health. Okay, but I do see you coming out of this through your art, by being able to freely express your art, share your art. Although you may experience some kind of objectivity, some kind of resistance or competition from people around you, Spirit is really wanting for you to keep in mind and to keep focused this mirror aspect that you were born with. I'm hearing through perseverance, stability, and patience, you're going to be able to obtain financial abundance or great physical healing through your perseverance on this situation, through staying true to your art, through staying true to your craft, especially if it's something that God has communicated to you directly. They're asking you to do for humanity, for the earth, for animals, for children, whatever it is that your mission that you've been called to stand up and to help. Because the healer energy here is the center of your reading. We have the Hermit is the next card that came out. Okay, so I feel like you have strong spiritual presence, strong wisdom, strong ability to be a spiritual teacher, to be that guiding light for others that are experiencing periods of darkness in the void. Because we all go through periods where at some point in our life we're asked to really sit in that darkness, to sit in that grief, that feeling of loss, to isolate, to be alone with our thoughts, to be alone with the presence of the Most High, and to gain that inner wisdom and that guiding light, because it is so easy to get turned around. If you can imagine, right, how many mirrors are out there in the collective, it's almost like you're being surrounded by a fun house, being surrounded by all of these mirrors around you. It's really easy to get distorted and to get confused and to get turned around and lost, especially if other people themselves are lost. And it's a type of, I'm picturing those mirrors in the fun house where some of them are concave, some of them are wavy, right? So depending on their damage, so to speak, for lack of a better word, depending on how they've been bent and broken and busted by life, this is reflected back onto you, and it's easy to get distorted and turned around if you don't have that connection to God to be able to tune in and get that guidance for yourself. I hope that's making sense. There's a song I'm hearing right now. It's by Pink, and I think it's called Fun House, and she's talking about how it used to be a fun house, but now all I see is scary clowns. So there may be additional insight in there in that message for you as well. But I'm feeling also with that song, she says something about it's time to burn it down. And you know what's really interesting too? I got this message a few days ago, I guess maybe a week ago now, where I've been receiving messages about a house burning down. And I have this deck, and there were these 2 cards that came out 4 different times, no matter how many times I separated them and reshuffled and all this. Like in one day, this card came out and said fire destruction, and the other one said burning house. And so I think that if it's a metaphorical message, because I have been receiving just so much confirmation after confirmation after confirmation of this message, I feel like you might be feeling called to really destroy something that you once identified as home. And it could be metaphorical. We're not talking about actual destruction here, although I would recommend just double checking the stove at night and things like that. But I feel like you're feeling called to just destroy everything that you've once known as your reality and start anew, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Can I get clarity on this mirror card, please? Thank you. Okay, so of course we have death here, and what's this other card? Oh, we have the 9 of Swords in reverse, and so putting certain anxieties and stressors to rest, feeling trapped in certain nightmare cycles are going to come to an end here because of this mirror. And once you recognize this gift is a gift, and you're going to start being able to identify how certain projections are being cast onto you. Rejection is projection, okay? Keep that in mind. And that's going to free you from people pleasing. Diminishing your shine is something else that I'm picking up on with this mirror energy here. So I'm really hearing the truth is going to set you free on this one. We have Page of Wands in reverse. I'm really feeling like you might be internalizing some of this rejection as personal, and therefore it's diminishing your inspiration, your craft, your art, your ability to heal. And so just be aware of that. Can I get some clarifying energy on this King of Stars artist energy, please? Okay, so we have Destiny here. Came out. It says, whatever you're looking for is looking for you too. It was destined to happen. And then we have initiation. Step into your power, a rebirth into a new way of being and living. And so I really think that you're stepping into your destiny here. You're starting to see how certain things were gifted to you for a reason. You're getting confirmation from angelic energy because of the feather here. You might be receiving signs through birds as well. But I'm feeling like this is pointing you towards your north node, towards your destiny, towards the mission that you came here to fulfill on behalf of your higher power. Okay, very cool. So clarifying energy, please, for the Hermit Healer card here. Okay, so we have dreams. You might be receiving messages and confirmation through your dreams. We also have Pisces here, so there's our Pisces friends. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. The time is now. So much confirmation here that your dreams are obtainable, especially if you are somebody that has been told repeatedly by your community that it's not obtainable, or that you would have to change yourself in some way. I'm also picking up on pink again, right? With that energy of, what song is that? Where she said something like, they told me I'd be a superstar. All I have to do is change everything you are. And she said, I'm tired of being compared to Britney Spears. She's so pretty, that's just not me. And if you kind of look at their careers now, you fast forward to like 20 years later, it's somewhat unfair to compare the two artists because their careers and their art are so unique to them. And they're both beautiful in their own way. They were both able to reach magnificent heights and to create legendary and epic reputations for themselves in the industry, while still being uniquely them. There's a saying that I always tell my daughters, and it's, I'm not pretty like her, I'm pretty like me. And it's kind of like a peacock comparing its beauty to a flamingo. They're two completely different sides of the color wheel, but they're still very beautiful and very uniquely them, right? So that's the message that's coming through for you. Look at what's on the bottom of the deck. It's a peacock. Oh, I love that. It says expression. Don't hold yourself captive in fear. Express yourself. I love synchronicity. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so that was really cool. We have leadership in reverse here with Aries energy. So this is talking about being afraid to be independent, to be an individual, to stand out for being different. And don't hold yourself captive in fear. Express yourself. Can I get a clarifying energy for this mirror, Nine of Swords, and Death energy, please? Oops. Okay, so we have Raven came out in addition to self-care. So it says, you are full of mystery and magic. The spirit of the raven travels with you. And it says, take time to replenish your body and spirit and watch yourself bloom. And so this is asking you to take time away, take time to really focus on self-care, and to always honor your art as a piece of you. And if it helps for you to visualize it as a piece of work outside of you, you notice how this woman is holding on to this raven. She's got wings of her own, and she's kind of protecting this raven with her wings and with her arms and shielding it with her whole self. And that's what you need to do with your craft. That's what you need to do with your art. Don't allow anybody to call you crazy for dancing the way that God created you to dance, to move the way that God created you to move. Okay, because again, like just going back to that symbolism of Britney Spears and Crazy by Britney Spears, I think I told you guys, right? And how everybody is casting judgment on her for dancing a certain way on her social media when that's how she was always meant to move, right? So can I get a closing message and a closing advice for the Aquafish Collective, please? Okay, so we have loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. I'm really feeling like this is talking about letting go of coping mechanisms where you maybe at one point looked to others to be able to guide you. When I was really little, I was in a ballet and tap dance class, and I remember being late one day, and everybody had these step stools that they were using to dance. And I ran in, the only step stool that was left was the one that was numbered number 1. And it was decorated, it was like bedazzled, right? And that's why it was the only one that was left, was because they wanted everybody to have the plain Jane stepping stools because they didn't want anybody to fight over it. But because I came into class late, they just handed it to me and stuck me all the way in the back so nobody would see me. I was honestly kind of embarrassed and ashamed because of how they made me feel. Like, oh, don't let anybody see your step stool. Stick her all the way in the back in the dark. That I completely lost the steps. I completely forgot the dance moves, and I had to watch everybody else and their dance moves, and I was like one step behind everybody because I was so focused and frazzled and anxious, right, with this Nine of Swords energy, that I was going to stand out, that I was going to draw attention to myself, that other people were going to be upset that I had something that they didn't. So there's something symbolic there for you as well. Don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to be number one. Don't be afraid to draw attention to yourself, because everything happened as it was meant to for you to be led to exactly this moment. Because with this destiny card and this energy of you attracting exactly what was meant for you, you attracting exactly what you're destined for, you're only doing damage to yourself. You're only resisting, because I'm hearing stop resisting, like from cops, right? So you're only doing more damage to yourself by resisting the flow of what's trying to take place here. And if you're putting all your focus on the people that are dancing around you, again, it's that energy of like Pink comparing herself to Britney Spears. You can't do that, because if Pink spent all of her time trying to be Britney Spears, she probably would have done more damage to her career than anything else. So there's something to be said about that. All right, anything else? Closing message for the aquafish. Thank you. Okay, so we got 2 cards here. We'll take them both. We have Inner Earth, and it says, you'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. And I heard something earlier this morning, and it said, I'm not the problem, I'm the solution. And so it could be that, again, if people are projecting onto you, just take time to go within, take time to talk to God, right? Let God in. Talk to God about the rejection that you're feeling, and take that time to rest. Don't be too hard on yourself on reaching certain status quo, or like, it's okay to be a little bit flexible in your goals, because that's going to, it's kind of that energy of the more flexible you remain, the less damage you're going to be doing to yourself, and remaining loose in the fall. There's something about that. But whatever it is that you've been up against in the recent past, you are going to survive this, even if you feel like you're not going to be able to, and there are going to be new beginnings coming in for you. And finally, the last card here, we have Perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. And I am picking up on void energy here. So if you are feeling moments of feeling lost, feeling alone, feeling like you're lost in the darkness for way too long, understand that darkness is required for stars to shine. You are going to survive this, Aquarius. You are going to survive this, Pisces. And everything that's happening right now is not going to be long term. It's not going to be significant in your overall story. It is pivotal. You are going to be taking lessons and strengths away from this, but it's not going to be a situation that lasts forever. Hey, Aquafish, I'm back again, because as soon as I turned off the camera, I had to go use the restroom, and as soon as I walked away, I heard Britney Spears and that song Crazy. Something about thinking of you keeps me up all night, and I thought about this 9 of Swords in reverse, right? And so I was like, okay, there's more to this message. Then I was picking up on Taurus vibes, and then I started shuffling, and the Hierophant card came out. So we have the Hierophant and the King of Pentacles, and I'm feeling heavy Taurus energy and influence over the situation. And I can tell you, as somebody with a North Node in Taurus, I had to learn through a lot of hardship and energetic influence on how to slow down in order to be in alignment with my purpose. So what I mean by that, as somebody learning to navigate life with chronic illness and trying to start, spiritual based businesses and those type of things, I had to really learn not to focus too much on trying to please the algorithm, trying to please other people, trying to keep up with how everybody else is doing things, because the people that I'm comparing my statistics to might not have children. They might not have disabling disease like I have. They might not have they might not be struggling with homelessness. They might have an office or a workspace to get their work done. And so me trying to compare my longevity or my ability to stay up with the masses is not productive to me and my well-being. And it's literally part of my human experience to learn how to slow down, because in the first 30 years of my life, I was able to live a fast-paced life, commuting to work, working in a high-stress environment, getting the kids to school, being a single parent, going to school myself at night. Like, these are the type of things that, although there is something to be said about that type of high-paced living situation, there's a lot about living and life around you that you miss in that process. And so being able to slow down and appreciate the slower paced aspect of, for example, living with chronic illness is in itself kind of, there's hints of privilege, and I say that so carefully because I don't want to trigger anyone, but there's hints of privilege in our experience where we're shown opportunities that other souls don't have. I can give you an example. Some human souls came to this planet to be able to experience what it's like to be independent, to be able to live on their own, to be able to create their own reality, and as an aspect of polarity, they may experience a lot of endings related to romantic partners, friendships, and family support. They may go through periods and seasons where they're asked to really be hyper independent in order to survive, right? And then on the flip side, and I'll speak for myself, through chronic illness, I was able to experience what it's like to actually need support, to need a partner that is as loving and as patient and as supportive as can be, to be able to help me heal in those periods where, had I been abandoned and left alone, I probably wouldn't have made it, right? To be able to experience what it's like as a mother, to take time off, to have my family clean the house and do my laundry and stuff because I physically was no longer able to do that. And I was shown through reflective situations that challenged levels of trust that I held in my partner, for example, and we actually separated for a week. And I remember in that week, for the first time in my life, it wasn't the first time I had gone through a period where I was asked to isolate or be on my own, but it was the first time that it didn't feel like it was in my best interest to do that. And through that, I was able to open my heart up to forgiveness. And it wasn't something that I did blindly. It was something that I prayed about and was exposed to me through a lot of symbolism actually related to the bird. And so it's interesting that you have the feather, the raven, and the angel wings that showed up in your reading so heavily here. We had that mystery card, right? And then we also had this feather here. Remember I had said you were probably getting messages through feathers and angels and birds, right? And I think the reason, Aquafish, why you live such a magical and mysterious life is to kind of reinforce this independence inside of you, that even when the world is judging you for moving the way that you do, you know that it's what's right for you because you have that connection to God, because you have that angelic support around you, and you're not ashamed to take time away to kind of be alone with your thoughts, be alone with your prayers, be alone in meditation. And through expressing yourself, through expressing your creativity, you're able to find these notions of healing, not only for yourself, but that you're able to share with others with this mirror energy. And I just feel like if you have been dealing with a lot of hate, even to the point where you're considering not expressing yourself in authenticity, you're considering no longer sharing your art with the world, or you actually lose sleep at night because of this. Spirit is wanting to put an end to this energy and this cycle here. Have love for yourself. Have love for your creations. They are your babies. I split the deck and we got your life is a canvas. Artist, manifestation, and creative accountability. Taking creative accountability. Love for your vision. Love for the dreams that were gifted to you, because they don't just come from nowhere. You know, they were gifted to you, and oftentimes they are a glimpse into your potential, a glimpse into what it is that you're able to create. I'm picking up on a song by Lindsay Sterling right now. My daughter plays it all the time. It's one of her favorites. It's When the Stars Align. And it shows through storytelling. She's trying to glimpse into her crystal ball here, into her future. And when she does, she's able to see soulmates, connections that are gifted to her from God. And it's when the stars align in the sky that she's able to finally manifest her full potential and destiny. But it's through the guidance of being able to map out the connection between the physical and the spiritual that keeps her focused, that keeps her eye on her own creative expressions. And Lindsay Sterling was actually rejected when she tried out for, was it America's Got Talent or something like that? They said she was doing too much by playing the violin and dancing simultaneously. Again, what is it with this energy of the world trying to diminish these women and expressing themselves with their body, with their dance, with their creative, artistic gift, right? But the world was constantly trying to fit them into a box, get them to stop twirling, stop moving, stop dancing the way that they do. And had they listened, they probably wouldn't have had the financial success, the abundance, the fame, the recognition that they have today. Spirit also wants you to recognize that part of the reason why you're somebody that sees beauty in everybody, which is another reason why we tend to get hurt so often, is because we can see a piece of ourselves in everybody, good or bad. We see their highest potential as well as their shadows. And sometimes in navigating that, we can really misinterpret certain blessings that God is gifting to us as curses. We can look at certain lessons as situations that we experienced rejection, and we believe the illusion cast onto us and our creative expressions that there's something wrong with us, that we're the problem. Spirit and the angels want us to know today that there is healing that's taking place in these rejections, whether we are able to see them from where we are or not, whether God exposes that to us or not. And do not misconstrue or misperceive some of these lessons as punishment, because for truth to be revealed, and when connections come your way with this mirror aspect within them, they're required to grow. Do you see the plants? The plant around her. They're required to grow. It could be uncomfortable and not everybody is ready for that. So please don't internalize it. That's the message for today. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you again soon.